Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career.
A halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. What if everything you thought you knew about R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and Diddy was completely wrong? Because this story isn't just about fame or scandal, it's about power, secrets, and a silent war that's finally coming to light. Stick around, because what you're about to hear could flip the entire hip-hop world upside down. We've all heard the wild tales about R. Kelly, the trials, the verdicts, and the mountain of accusations that finally caught up with him. But what if the real story isn't about what he did, but what he knows? While everyone was busy celebrating his downfall, nobody noticed that R. Kelly might be holding the keys to one of the biggest scandals hip-hop has ever seen. This isn't about old gossip or tired headlines. It's about fresh court filings, prison whispers, and timing so sketchy it can't be ignored. Word is, R. Kelly isn't just fighting for his freedom anymore. He's allegedly sitting on a vault of dangerous secrets, and the ones who should be worried? None other than Jay-Z and Diddy, two names that might be sweating behind closed doors. Just last week, R. Kelly's legal team dropped a shocking motion claiming there's an active plan to silence him for good. And get this, it's not some random online rumor. The paperwork reportedly says that prison officials are teaming up with white supremacist gangs to make sure Kelly never walks free again. The timing couldn't be more suspicious. Right after R. Kelly started hinting that he's got dirt on some seriously powerful people, everything went sideways. Coincidence? Maybe, but it sure doesn't look like it. Not long after, Kelly was rushed to the hospital after collapsing in his cell, and his team swears he was intentionally overdosed. Now he's locked in solitary, completely cut off from everyone. His lawyers are shouting that this was no accident. It's a full-on hit job meant to silence him before he spills what he knows. And the wildest part? The government brushed it off as some fanciful conspiracy. Really? Since when does the government move that fast to dismiss something unless there's something way bigger being covered up? Now let's talk about the real elephant in the room, Diddy's recent conviction. While the world was glued to the headlines, trial, verdict, and that 50-month sentence for those transport charges, nobody was asking why now. After years of whispers, lawsuits, and payoffs, why did the feds suddenly decide to move on Diddy? And why is it happening just as R. Kelly's prison filings start popping up everywhere? Kelly's team isn't just crying about an assassination plot, they're teasing that he's holding info so explosive it could shake the whole industry. What if this whole thing could rewrite hip-hop history, exposing who was really pulling the strings during its darkest era? And if you think Jay-Z isn't somehow in this mix, you might not be watching close enough. Remember, Jay-Z didn't just cut ties with R. Kelly after that chaotic Best of Both Worlds tour. He allegedly had a hand in funding the very documentary that buried him. Surviving R. Kelly wasn't just storytelling. It felt like a calculated takedown. So ask yourself, who was whispering in the producer's ears? Who stood to gain the most from Kelly's destruction? The timeline alone will send chills down your spine. Kelly got convicted in 2021. Diddy got indicted in 2024. And now, in 2026, Kelly's team is filing motions about assassination plots and government cover-ups, while Jay-Z's name keeps showing up alongside federal probes. You really think that's just coincidence? Or could there be a deeper link tying all this together? The same industry circles, the same power players, all popping up at the same time. It's too perfect to ignore. And let's not forget that infamous Best of Both Worlds tour. That's where things first started to unravel. The pepper spray chaos, the canceled shows, the lawsuits. But what if that tour wasn't just a failure? What if it was the beginning of something much darker? But it gets crazier. While everyone's focused on Diddy's legal storm, Jay-Z's name keeps slipping into the same conversations. Remember Nas's old interview with Wendy Williams? The one where he flat out said, "You gonna sit here and tell me that working on that album, he ain't never seen no 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity?" That wasn't just shade, that was a warning shot. Now, with Kelly's lawyers hinting at blackmail-level secrets, you've got to ask, what did Jay-Z really see? What did he know? And why does it seem like he's the only one who managed to walk away clean? And don't forget those so-called Freakoff parties. Everyone's been focused on Diddy's trial and the Cassie Ventura hotel stories, but nobody's asking the real question, who else was there? Because let's be honest, Diddy didn't throw those events solo. He had partners, powerful friends, and people who gained from the same shady setup. If R. Kelly really has tapes, texts, or even memories of who stepped into those rooms, Jay-Z's name could easily show up.
Bigger.
I think that they don't want, if they were in any of those Freakoff tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
In hip-hop, power isn't just about money, it's about secrets. And right now, R. Kelly might be the last one alive who knows exactly where all the skeletons are hidden. So here's the picture. A convicted artist in solitary claiming there's a hit out on his life. A music mogul freshly convicted and sitting in jail waiting out his sentence, and a billionaire rapper who somehow keeps dodging every bullet, even though his name keeps surfacing in federal chatter and old industry scandals. But here's the wildest part. This still isn't the full story. Because while the world's glued to the courtrooms and headlines, nobody's asking the question that could blow this open for real. What happens if R. Kelly actually starts talking? And more importantly, who's really terrified of what he might reveal? If hip-hop's darkest moments have taught us anything, it's this. The men at the top didn't climb there by playing fair, and they definitely aren't staying there by telling the truth. The game's built on power, silence, and control, and once you start pulling those strings, everything starts to unravel. But here's where things take a twist. While everyone's been locked on Diddy's trial and Jay-Z's rumored involvement, barely anyone's asking about the one person who connects it all, Aaliyah. She wasn't just a chapter in R. Kelly's story, she was the beginning. And if you think Jay-Z and Diddy didn't have their own roles in that timeline, you might be missing the bigger picture. Aaliyah's name keeps popping up in all the wrong places, like how Damon Dash, Jay-Z's former partner, allegedly refused to produce Best of Both Worlds unless the profits went to the Aaliyah Foundation, or how Jay-Z supposedly looked past the warning signs about Kelly's actions even after Aaliyah's passing. And here's another layer. Rumors say Diddy was the one who first introduced Kelly to Aaliyah in the first place. You really don't think that's relevant? After all these years, there's still one name that makes every man in this story flinch, and that name is Aaliyah. Let's talk about the surviving R. Kelly documentary, because that's where everything starts looking like a setup. That project didn't just fall out of the sky, it was funded, strategically planned, and if the whispers are true, Jay-Z wasn't just watching from the sidelines, he was allegedly pulling the strings from behind the curtain. Now ask yourself, why would a man who built a spotless image suddenly dive into a takedown like that? Unless he had something to gain or something to hide? Don't forget, Jay-Z didn't simply back out after that Best of Both Worlds disaster. He completely erased Kelly from existence. Then years later, he supposedly helps bankroll the one project that made sure Kelly could never defend himself again. That doesn't sound like justice, it sounds like a straight-up cover-up. And if R. Kelly's lawyers are telling the truth and there really is a plan to silence him, Jay-Z's fingerprints could be all over it. But here's where it really starts getting eerie. The timing. Kelly's conviction in 2021, Diddy's indictment in 2024, everything lining up like dominoes just waiting to fall. Now it's 2026 and R. Kelly's lawyers are dropping motions about assassination plots and government misconduct, while Jay-Z's name keeps sliding into federal whispers. You really think that's just random? After decades of rumors and silence, the feds suddenly move in on Diddy now, and at the same time, Kelly's out here fighting for his life? That timing is way too clean. Because here's the truth. Power in this game isn't just about what you do, it's about what you know. And right now, R. Kelly might be the only one left who knows the whole story. And that brings us right back to the Best of Both Worlds tour, the point where this all started to explode like a ticking time bomb. That tour was a straight-up mess from the start. Kelly was getting serious threats. Jay-Z's crew was allegedly sabotaging his set, and everything spiraled fast. Then came the Madison Square Garden chaos. Kelly swore someone pulled a gun on him, got pepper sprayed by one of Jay-Z's friends, and just like that, the tour was done for good. Why would Jay-Z's team go that far to shut R. Kelly down? Unless they were scared of what he might say or what he might still remember. Let's be real. Jay-Z didn't just walk away from that tour. He ran and never looked back. Until now. Because here's the twist. R. Kelly isn't just a disgraced artist anymore. He's a man with nothing left to lose. If his claims are true, if there's really a plan to silence him, then the real question isn't if he'll talk. It's when. And when he does, who's still gonna be standing? Jay-Z might have the billions. Diddy might have the felonies. But R. Kelly, he's got the receipts. And if hip-hop's darkest scandals have taught us anything, it's that the truth always finds a way out, no matter how deep it's buried. The only thing left to ask is who's gonna survive when it finally hits the surface. Because in this world, The only thing more dangerous than power is secrets. And right now, R. Kelly might be sitting on the biggest one of all. And that's where the story turns pitch black, making you question everything you thought you knew about these men. If we're talking about secrets, we can't skip the one name that links Jay-Z, Diddy, and R. Kelly in a way that still gives people chills: Aaliyah. Everyone's heard the whispers about her marriage to Kelly when she was just 15, the fake ID, the hush-hush ceremony, the frantic annulment, and her family's desperate attempt to erase the nightmare from history. But what no one talks about is how Jay-Z and Diddy are both tangled in that legacy, not as bystanders, but as men who allegedly played roles in shaping it before walking away when the fire got too hot. Aaliyah wasn't just part of Kelly's scandal. She was a pawn in a bigger game of money, music, and power. This wasn't just about one man's actions, it was about an entire system built on silence, where the top dogs made sure the truth stayed buried. Now here's where it gets heavy. Damon Dash, Jay-Z's own business partner back then, refused to play along. When Jay-Z and Kelly were building best of both worlds, Dash allegedly drew the line. He wanted the profits sent straight to the Aaliyah Foundation. Why would he do that unless he saw the danger up close? He knew something wasn't right and wanted no part of it. But Jay-Z? He kept moving like nothing happened. Even after Aaliyah's tragic passing, he allegedly pushed forward with Kelly anyway, and that choice still raises serious questions today. Even after the rumors about those studio sessions, even after the world knew what kind of man R. Kelly was, Jay-Z still pushed forward. That wasn't loyalty, that was strategy. Because Jay-Z didn't just ignore the warnings, he allegedly profited from them. And if that doesn't make your stomach twist, you've got to ask yourself, what else was he willing to overlook when the price was right? And then there's Diddy, the man who allegedly introduced Kelly to Aaliyah in the first place. We might not know every detail of that meeting, but one thing's clear. Diddy played a massive role in Kelly's rise during the 90s. He was the one opening doors, giving access, and allegedly helping build the very system that let Kelly move without consequences. But when the rumors started getting too loud, when the lawsuits piled up and the walls began closing in, did Diddy cut ties? Not right away. He allegedly kept working with Kelly like nothing had changed. Because in that world, talent always came before morality.
R. Kelly was saying that Jay-Z funded his downfall plus the documentary.
Until it didn't. Until the feds came knocking. Until the documentaries aired. And suddenly the same men who built him up were the ones throwing him to the wolves to save themselves. Isn't it wild how Diddy's downfall started right around the same time R. Kelly's legal battles were wrapping up? Almost like the feds were climbing the ladder, one name at a time. But here's where it turns dark, because this isn't just about Aaliyah anymore. This is about an entire system, one that Jay-Z and Diddy didn't just benefit from, they allegedly helped build. These men didn't just see the dark side of the industry, they allegedly profited from it. Jay-Z built his early image on being self-made, the street hustler who rose from nothing. But what if he didn't really leave those streets behind? What if he brought that same cutthroat mentality into the boardroom? When you look at how he allegedly treated R. Kelly, first a partner, then a problem, then a full-blown target, it starts to look less like business and more like a calculated takedown. And Diddy? He didn't just throw flashy parties. He allegedly ran those gatherings like a controlled operation. Women like Cassie Ventura weren't just guests.
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got his ass. The feds ain't step in and do nothing.
They were allegedly moved around like pieces on a chessboard. That's why R. Kelly's current prison filing sounds so dangerous. Because if what he's saying is true, if there is a plot to silence him, then the real question isn't just what he knows, it's who he's protecting and why. This isn't just about what R. Kelly knows, it's about what they did to make sure he could never speak again. Let's be honest, Jay-Z didn't help fund surviving R. Kelly out of kindness. He allegedly saw it as a chance to rewrite the narrative, keeping his image spotless while Kelly's got dragged through the dirt. And Diddy? He didn't just get caught, he got exposed. Look at the way that trial unfolded. The Freakoff parties, the testimonies, the recordings, the threats. It doesn't look like a fall from grace anymore. It looks like Judgment Day. And the only thing that could make it worse? If Kelly's got proof that Jay-Z was actually in the room when some of it went down. Now let's follow the money, because that's where the real motive always hides. Jay-Z didn't just leave the streets, he allegedly rebuilt them inside the music business. He took the same rules: control the product, control the supply, and never let anyone peek behind the curtain. The game didn't change, just the stage. So when R. Kelly became a threat, Jay-Z allegedly didn't just walk away, he helped erase him. In Jay-Z's world, loose ends don't exist. He cuts them off before they can cause trouble. And Diddy, he didn't just throw wild parties, he allegedly built an empire on them. Those so-called freak-off gatherings weren't about fun, they were about leverage. Everyone who stepped through those doors was giving up a little piece of control, making sure that nobody could ever turn on him, because doing that would mean exposing themselves too. So when the law finally caught up, Diddy didn't just face conviction, he faced exposure. The one thing he never saw coming was someone like Cassie Ventura saying enough and breaking the code of silence. But here's the real kicker. If R. Kelly's threats are real, and he's truly sitting on a mountain of secrets, the biggest danger isn't a leaked video or shocking testimony. It's a paper trail. Guys like Jay-Z and Diddy didn't get to the top by being sloppy, they got there by keeping everything locked down. Every deal signed, every payment tracked, every NDA airtight. But here's the truth about paper trails. They don't vanish. If Kelly's got access to receipts, contracts, or records that show who was where and when, the FBI won't be the only ones paying attention. Because the only thing men like Jay-Z and Diddy fear more than prison is exposure. And if Kelly's telling the truth, this isn't just about his fall, it's about who's willing to do anything to keep their empire from crashing down. This isn't just about a few powerful men. It's about an entire industry built on silence, secrets, and looking the other way. As long as the money kept flowing and the chart stayed hot, nobody dared to ask too many questions. But here's the truth about secrets. They never stay buried forever. And when they finally explode, they don't just destroy one man, they bring the whole empire down. Because if hip-hop's darkest eras have taught us anything, it's that the ones at the top didn't get there by playing clean. They got there by making sure nobody could touch them. But what happens when the one person who knows everything they've buried is the one person they can't shut up anymore? So this is where we leave it, at least for now. The courts may have ruled, the trials may be ending, and the headlines might already be chasing the next scandal. But one question still lingers like smoke in the air. What if R. Kelly isn't the real villain in this story? What if R. Kelly isn't the villain at all? What if he's the witness? And what if the very men who helped lock him up are the ones who should really be sweating right now? Because one thing's for sure, power never likes to be challenged, and R. Kelly might just be the only man left with enough dirt to bring the whole system crashing down. So what do you think? Is he bluffing to stay relevant, or is he sitting on the one card that could finally shatter the silence once and for all? Because in a game this dirty, the only thing more dangerous than the truth is the man brave enough to speak it. And if what he's saying turns out to be real, then buckle up, because the real show is only just getting started. If you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Tell us what you think about this wild story.